And I learned it with something like house shopping. So people want bread to be in the house. Nobody is giving you brownie points for being the one in the supermarket going to get the bread. So I think because you have so much demands on your time as a woman, it is very critical that you understand what other things are worth my time. And as your business grows, growth doesn't come with just by taking on more things. Every time you're stepping on into a new horizon in your business, please be cognizant of what am I letting go. You want to move, and sometimes why we are stuck, and one of the things Joanne sent us is maybe some people are in a business that they're feeling the business is stuck. Why am I stuck? Because you're trying to do more things, but you are not releasing. So I think that fine balance between letting go and releasing sometimes is the difference between whether your business will actually grow or whether it is staying in the same spot. So if your business has been in the same spot, ask yourself, have I been doing the same things over and over again? And in our classes, we have found that actually is the main problem. People are doing the same things, trying to do more things, trying to grow, try to expand, but they still want to hold it together. So be willing to let go, whether it's in your business, build a culture where people are rising. That's what makes your business grow. Empower them, don't micromanage. And even in your household, let go. If shopping is important to you, fine, do it. But if you know it's not the thing on your deathbed, you'll be, I wish I was in Carrefour a bit more. Yeah? Let go.
These are just some of the things that I think that we struggle with as women in business settings, that perhaps are different from when you're employed and when you're in a corporate setting. And you may or may not relate to all of them, but if any of them make sense to you, I think just go back and ask yourself, is this an area that's holding me back? And again, these are generalizations. Obviously, not all men are great at this, and not all women are bad at this, but in general. And it's because of some of the strengths we have become weaknesses if you look at them from the other side of the coin. The first one is, and I think you mentioned it earlier, is that we do try and play safe. So I think the willingness to take risk, and it doesn't have to be reckless risk, but just the willingness to sometimes step into the unknown and try and put your time and money into something that you're not sure is going to work. I think women sometimes we struggle with doing that, and so we stay where it's very comfortable and where we're almost guaranteed an outcome. So if you're really trying to grow a business, how much risk are you truly taking? I think you need to ask yourself. A second one is we've got to be okay with rejection. Men, even in the dating scene and everything else, they're so used to being rejected, they feel nothing. We are not used to that. Whether you go and you try and pitch a deal or you apply for something, it hurts. As women, I think, for many of us to be rejected, we've got to be okay with it. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. I think if you're going to grow a business, you will have to be rejected many, many times along that journey. And so we've got to it doesn't have to reflect back on us. Every rejection is an opportunity to learn. And so if you can take that and say, okay, what could I have done differently? What didn't I get across or whatever? So learn from your rejections and be okay with it. Third one, be okay with chaos. Because in any business that's growing, you're not going to have all the perfect structures and systems. And in that chaos, you've got to also keep kind of changing. Men will be like, I'm this today, and tomorrow they're wearing a different hat, and the third day. And sometimes I think as women, we're like, oh no, I don't want to say I can do it unless I'm absolutely sure. So sometimes just that willingness to be okay with chaos. Fourthly is making quick decisions. Again, we're good students because we take time, we study, we look at all the balance, the pros and cons, and then we come up with this really thoughtful answer. That can't happen in business. You've got to be willing sometimes to make quite quick decisions. And it's often better to make a wrong decision than no decision. So make a wrong decision and then find a way to turn it around if you really see that it's not working. Fifth, be okay with imperfection. One of the co-founders of LinkedIn, his name is Reid Hoffman, he's famous for saying, if you were not embarrassed by your first product, it means you waited too long. I can't tell you the number of people I've spoken to who have said, I've been thinking about doing this for 3 years. I'm like, 3 years? You know, we try too hard to get it perfect before we put it out there. Of course, it has to be somewhat okay, but I mean, you will never know how to perfect it until you start getting feedback. So be okay with imperfection. I think you've heard a lot about letting go, and the challenge of, you know, we often want to micromanage, and you're never going to grow a business if you're micromanaging. And then I think lastly is that confidence to tell our story, and I think Washeke's last comment just demonstrated that perfectly. You know, the fact that you could stand there and say, because I'm the best. We aren't ready always to tell that story, to give that sales pitch, so we haven't practiced it, and we're shy. So I think just getting over that, again, many men will be so much more willing to just put themselves in front of people and tell a story, and
know your stuff, and then be very secure in yourself, and I guess God. I think for me that's the other plus, that my security is not of how I look, what else, what I'm doing, did I succeed in this, did I say this well? You know, my security is a lot in God. And, you know, so through when I pray in the morning, for me, I just say, Lord, help me to be articulate. Let me know the stuff I know. Let me know how to say it well and know my audience. You know, because there are many times we walk into different audiences. Whether you're selling a product, the audience will always sometimes be very different. And sometimes because it worked yesterday, you assume it will work today. You know, always get to know your audience. You know, sometimes I tell my team, okay, what audience am I talking to? Who is there? Who could have been there in my last meeting? Because again, you don't want to say the stuff to the same people the same way. You know, so always like do a bit of, and which is good because women, we tend to, we analyze a lot, but sometimes we forget when you're going to sell a product or to talk to a group of people, and especially other leaders, corporate people, other CEOs, to really just know who they are, you know, and what they expect, what is the expectation of the audience. So when you're going to speak, what do they expect? What do they want to take home? And prepare around that, not just because of what I know. You know, so those are some of the things that I've also learned to be a leader. Then again, your team, I think that was mentioned. I depend a lot on my team. Many times as a leader, you feel like you know it, and so you don't need anyone to tell you. The team is your best mirror. You know, just the way they say at home, you may have your husband, you may have anyone else who is your best mirror, but in the office, it's your team. You know, and they look at you, they know, they see things you may not see because you're so focused, you're so caught up in what you're doing, but they see the 360 because each of them is focused on a different thing in the office. And so consulting them or just listening to them or seeing what they're doing and then thinking, okay, I didn't see that this way. You know, just learning from the team. So when I talked about mentorship, again, I forgot to mention peer mentorship or even down mentorship. You know, there are those who are younger, and I like the Generation Y because they're very innovative. They come up with ideas I would never think about. You know, with all their craziness of focus of 2 minutes and all that, they have ideas that you'll never think about. And that's what I learn a lot from them, but also your peer mentors. You know, we assume that it's only mentors who are out there, but your peer mentors, the people you operate with, your good friends, your age mates, they're your best mirrors. So those are some of the things that I've also learned as I've gone along.
Last year, I bid for a job. And by the way, this job, first you had to upload the proposal on IFMIS. IFMIS was down for 3 days. Eventually, we had to go to a Huduma Center and upload the proposal. And by the time we were going to the Huduma Center, the guys there were like, well, you guys are bothering us. So anyway, we put in the proposal. Then after 5 months of waiting, we were awarded the job. But let me tell you, then when they awarded us the job, they gave us a report. They gave a report on, let's say, this company bid, this company bid, this company bid, and this company bid. Isn't it? And I could see, this competitor did this competitor did this, and etc. But because we followed the script, everything was perfect, we won the contract. So we celebrated. Now, the payment terms were 30%, and then 40%. Up to today, I've not been paid. 0%, I'll be paid 0%. So, now, does that stop me from doing business with government? Absolutely not. I have the contract. I have a guy who goes to their office to collect. And I've told myself, I'd rather wait for, I won't say the amount of money, I'd rather wait for X amount of money for a year to be paid than part ways with any shilling.